Здорово всем, с вами HealHeartS, и сегодня у нас просто великолепнейшие новости. Появилась немножко информации об игре Mortal Shell. Если вы не знаете, то это Souls-like. В общем-то, у нас сейчас будет трейлер, потом еще немножечко геймплея, целый босс, комментарии от разработчиков. Это просто восхитительно. Давайте же посмотрим и будем ожидать. Да, игра, дата выхода, дата бетки тоже будет названа немножко позже. Разумеется, ссылка на оригинал будет в описании, чтобы IGN на меня не ругался, как они это обычно делают. Ну, давайте же смотреть.
I do not deserve absolution, yet still I seek it.
You must find his name.
Как вы могли заметить, бетка выйдет уже 3 июля, то есть буквально даже меньше месяца времени осталось. Очень круто выглядит. Это как бы просто так, на затравочку. Теперь же давайте посмотрим с вами на реальный геймплей. К сожалению, на IGN никогда нету субтитров. Нормальные субтитры мы сделать, к сожалению, не сможем. Но, возможно, потом под моим роликом можно будет сгенерировать их автоматически. Не уверен, но попробуем. Поехали смотреть.
The shells are the playable characters in the game. Through inhabiting them, you learn more about who they were. You get in touch with their abilities. But first, you must learn their names.
Okay, indeed, so and what you see on the screen is HealHeartS, which is one of the first shells you actually acquire. And yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
Здесь вроде бы они говорят то, что, как будет называться первая оболочка.
Their abilities, they're really each of their abilities are tied in with their storyline. So you might have someone who was an executioner and someone who was a poisoner, and so you'll get, to as you get to know who they were when you unlock their storyline. You see here that we're learning who this shell was, what their name was, and each time you unlock a little bit more about their history, you acquire one of their abilities as well.
So how many shells are there, or do you even know yet? And it sounds like they were going to be providing different types of playstyles.
There are 4 unique mortal shells that you can.
Сначала, интервьюер спрашивает, сколько всего оболочек будет, говорит, 4 уникальных точно уже будет. И у каждой оболочки будет разный свой игровой стиль.
For example, when it comes to dodges and rolls, can only roll a certain way. Another shell can only execute a dodge in a certain way. And as Andrew already mentioned, as you discover their
говорит, одна оболочка будет уворачиваться, вторая будет хорошо танковать или казнить. И насколько я понял из их речи, что для того, чтобы открывать новые умения, какие-то новые обилки, новые имена своих, скажем так, оболочек, нужно будет узнавать их лор. Вот сейчас мы подошли к оракулу, возможно, видимо, и узнаем.
Theme that one shall represent, and the more you uncover, the more you learn what their strong side really is.
So you mentioned if you can find all these shells, are they sort of doled out throughout the entirety of the game, or is it possible to get all 4 of them near the beginning of the game so you can use them throughout the entire game?
They're hidden throughout the world. It is close to the beginning, so that you can so that you'll be able to kind of choose one which suits your playstyle the best fairly early on, but you will have to kind of scour that initial area for them.
Gotcha. Now, in the announcement trailer that was released earlier this year, it looks like there was a scene where we saw the player get knocked out of a shell. Is that something that can happen during combat?
Yeah, that's what happens when your HP reaches 0. You get knocked out of your shell. You're put into this more vulnerable state. It can kind of have tactical advantages, but the big disadvantage is that you only have 1 HP when you're in that state. So you have to be super careful. You can get back into the shell a limited number of times. But yeah, you've got to really manage your HP, manage your stamina, and kind of explore all the tactics.
Вроде бы речь идет о том, что можно потерять оболочку.
You can actually even play through the game without any shells at all. Like if you really want a challenge, so that's always an option.
Yeah, in fact, there's like a secret spot that we hope one of those more hardcore players who really want the challenge to find, where you like sort of officially within the game's lore, obviously.
Да, говорят то, что можно будет без оболочки проходить для максимального челленджа.
It's on now. You're gonna live in the age, baby.
Well, these types of games definitely have those hardcore players that are looking for a challenge. So that'll really be fun watching people try to do like a no-shell playthrough.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're being upfront that this is a Souls-like game. What made you decide to make this kind of game?
I mean, I guess for us it was never even a question what type of game we want to do, because we all are fans of these games. We enjoy playing them. We love the meaning and the philosophy that they have inside. So we just wanted to do something that we would play ourselves, and hopefully other people will enjoy too.
I mean, the first time I went over to Vitaly's house, he had this LED screen on his fridge that was, yeah, I'm going there, which was rotating the armor sets, rotating the armor sets from Dark Souls 3, like it was pictures of his pets or his kids or something, you know. And then right after that, we had a 2.5-hour conversation about debating the merits of nihilism.
Oh wow!
Yeah, very very true. I have to admit, I had a phase like that, and I guess like the first experience of playing a Dark Souls game was really in a way like a life changing for me. Not just because like those are fun games, but really the sense of like the overcoming sort of your internal struggle, the journey that you go through, and how sort of like character strengthening those experiences are. So in a way, what really happened for us also as a studio, we really bonded also, and over this shared passion, and we became real life friends as well. And everybody finds something their own on those kind of games, and now it's a genre that is here to stay, and we thought we have something to say in this realm as well. And we really think those kind of genres, just more than just a game, they're good for you.
So which of the Souls games were the biggest inspiration for you?
I would say it's probably different for each and every of us. Like we have a broad selections of games we like in Souls-like genre, but like for me personally, I really love the really old one called Blade of Darkness.
Здесь можно играть на балалайке, офигеть.
But it looks like the game you start with when you first try Souls like is your favorite normally for people, at least among us. So yeah,
it's like the Souls before Souls, right?
Sure.
Yeah, like before the term was even coined, right? Like the first original Souls, like, and I think for some of us, I think Dmitry, did you set what other games you said like even before the Dark Souls?
Yeah, we were passionate for dark fantasy art style games, different melee combat games like Blades of Darkness for sure, and it was even Golden Axe and Quake 1. It's not a melee combat, but it's still a good, it's a pretty deep mood.
Здесь, походу, даже какое-то парирование реализовано.
Yeah, and like I mentioned Quake because like it's clearly not a Souls-like, but some of the ideas in terms of the atmosphere and like the world-building elements, in terms of like the brutal atmosphere, what it brings to you, it definitely was an inspiration. Another thing was probably worth mentioning when it kind of going back to sort of why we decided is also that there's some elements in the original Souls-like, like the first Dark Souls and Demon Souls that we really like, that are kind of like not really being sort of left forgotten today when it comes to like level design and some of the other elements that we thought it'd be really cool to take those ideas and evolve them into something new, something that we were passionate about and felt confident that we can evolve in that formula and bring something new to the table.
So tell us about the world of Mortal Shell. What is this place? What happened here? And what is the player trying to accomplish?
Well, what exactly happened and what the players tried to accomplish, we're gonna try not to spoil things just yet. Sure. But generally, we can say that the player's gonna find themselves in this world that was tarnished and by this influence of the so-called, like, well, we call it internally, we're like, in a funny way referring to the juice, is this substance that has almost like magical kind of like abilities that is created and produced within the sacred glands of this godlike creature they revered, the sacred nectar. And this sacred nectar is pretty much the sort of the root of all conflict in the world, is the main currency that the player is going to use to to fully develop the combat abilities of their shell, but it's also what other
Даже босса покажут моё почтение.
NPCs and enemies also seek in the game.
But in general, like speaking, if we baseline it, in the game, everybody's basically searching for a meaning, and not only you as a player, but also like other NPCs or other like creatures that populate the world. They're all in search for a meaning, and some of them find it, some of them don't. But it's all about that, basically.
What can you tell us about this enemy that we're seeing in combat right here?
Well, in general, when it comes to enemies, we try to approach it in a way where every enemy has something about them, something special about them, and one kind of important kind of a pillar design hook idea, right? And also, obviously, has to be integrated in the level within. Like maybe about this particular fella, who's quite mean.
Сейчас, кстати, был момент, когда нашего персонажа выбили из оболочки, и он таким вот голеньким бегал. Я так понимаю, такое происходит тогда, когда ХП, скажем так, близится к нулю. Видимо, какая-то обилка была заюзана, чтобы можно было вернуться в свою оболочку. Ну, как это будет в игре на самом деле, посмотрим.
Maybe Dmitry can tell us more about this guy.
Oh yeah, it was fun to make a design for this one. We have a few different versions before we hit the style, but the main idea that we had in mind is like we want to create something a wild, crazy beast, something like a huge, hungry bear on steroids. So and
Yeah, because like, you know, it's rare when you see a very well balanced combination of both power.
Я,
like
кстати,
raw
только
power
заметил,
and
босса
fantasy,
Гриша зовут.
and it's hard to get those things right. And you know, like maybe Anton can talk more about the animation side of things and combat there for this guy.
Yeah, because that was like part of the creation of the creatures too. Like we don't have any motion capture animation in game, so everything is keyframed, and we're trying to really focus and put like exaggerations and accents in the right moment to make the combat flow in the right way. And same not only for enemies but for player too. So it fits.
Эти грибы, видимо, как самоцвет восстановления. Видите, хп регенится у персонажа.
So how big and how open is this world?
The world is, I mean, taking the studio size, we knew from the start that like we have to focus on the quality rather than the quantity. So we can call it a fairly compact experience, but when I say compact, I still mean it's like deep enough to get lost in, and it's interesting enough to get lost in. And we have a lot of storytelling elements and pieces throughout the world, a lot of interesting places to explore where you can find some bits of story that, like, after that you can connect the dot together and figure out what exactly is happening in the area that you're in.
And the entire experience takes around 20 hours. I think that, you know, we tried to keep every moment meaningful. Like, we're not going to send you around.
Ну, что можно сказать в общем и целом? Я теперь буду ждать игру с еще большим нетерпением, то есть, как вы можете понимать, это вот оболочка, 4 которых уникальных будет в игре, а это типа сам наш персонаж, за которого нам и предстоит играть. Будет круто. Единственное, где вообще хоть какая-нибудь цена? Типа, в Дискорде у них не написано. В общем-то, как-то так. Буду безумно рад почитать ваши комментарии на этот счет. Да, пишите лайки, дизлайки, там это важно, не важно, как бы ссылка на оригинал в описании. Еще, кстати, здесь, смотрите, есть комментарии разработчиков. Ну, я не стал это в видео вставлять, тем более там все на английском, максимально непонятно. Ссылки будут на оригинал в описании, если есть желание, можете сами совершенно спокойно посмотреть. Так что как-то так, всем большое еще спасибо, счастья, здоровья, не болеем, кто болеет, выздоравливаем, чтобы все у всех было хорошо. Огромное спасибо спонсорам канала, а также всем спасибо за просмотр и надеюсь, что видео вам понравилось. Если это так, то можете поставить лайк и подписаться. Это очень сильно мотивирует стараться лучше и больше. Также можно нажать колокольчик, чтобы не пропустить новых роликов. У нас все честно, если не понравилось, ставим дизлайк. В описании всегда есть интересные ссылки, также можно посмотреть и другие мои ролики. Всем всего хорошего, счастья, здоровья, чтобы все у всех было хорошо. С вами был HealHeartS.